Hello there, my crafty friends. It's Ashley Pfeiffer, the maker behind Stamped AF. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Canada. And for this month's Stamping Society tutorial, we had a color challenge. It was tricky. I'm not gonna lie. There's actually one color missing from here. It was a color challenge with 6 colors. So, very vanilla, soft suede, Starry Sky, shaded spruce, Pear Pizzazz, and metallic foil. No big deal, right? Oh, I overthought it like a champ, and every project I came up with felt like it wasn't quite good enough. I finally landed on one. Finally. I started off doing a one-sheet wonder, which like everyone and their dog is doing, and I thought, well, they're beautiful. It didn't feel like enough. So I now have 5 Christmas cards ready to go. Awesome, right? And the second project I did is actually the one that I'm going to demonstrate for you today, but let me show you what didn't make the cut. So the Family and Friends stamp set is one that I had used once before in a live stream, and I thought, okay, let's use that. So I made this cute little tree lot. Now, actually, this is using the Trees for Sale stamp set, which, as you know, had coordinating dies, and they did not last very long. So this is just the stamp set. But then I brought in the strings of lights from the Family and Friends and put some fine tip glue on there. Added my stars. I've got a Starry Sky, a little faux pas with my water painter, but gorgeous, right? And then I thought, okay, I'm going to add some people. So I stamped these little people on a piece of acetate window sheet, and they're a little too small. My Trees for Sale sign is either gigantic or they are very short. So I thought, okay, I'll make it like an interactive card, but everything I tried just wasn't working. So I finally thought, okay, well, maybe I'll do a flat, clear shaker panel. But the window sheet was just a little too short, and I mean, still we're left with that ginormous Trees for Sale sign. So I will set this aside and maybe genius will come to me, but not holding my breath. So with that same stamp set, I stamped and cut a mask, and I thought, okay, I'll stamp the trees, and because that other one was a little bit of a mess. So stamped it, and in the end, I'm like, well, there's actually some trees that are just right in here. So I still masked them, but now granted, if my sky were a little bit darker, I'd probably be happy with it, but who knows, maybe I can use it like that. But my window sheet is just a little bit too short and a little too far over for anything that I was going to do. So those didn't make it. Although this one, if I took it off of my card base that is upside down because I was going to do it as a flat shaker, I could use that, right? And this is retiring, and I think it's like 60% off come the day you're seeing this. So if you have had your eye on it, grab it. I did do a cute little interactive, well, a window card using this one earlier that I will try to link up here. Then I thought I'd use Decorated with Happiness, and I created this little tree, but I didn't love that. It was a little busy. It's got Pear Pizzazz and shaded spruce and soft suede, but meh. So then earlier I thought, okay, well, what if I make a big ornament? Because there are so many bundles that are retiring that I haven't really had a chance to play with, and Joyful Flurry is one of them, Decorated with Happiness, I only just got. But I made this little ornament, and that topper is just out of punches. I was like thrilled with how it turned out. But even if I didn't use this tree, it was just a little too much. So finally, I came back to my second project. I added a little touch, and I was finally thrilled with it. So like I said, everyone and their dog is doing like a one-sheet wonder, right? They're stamping their whole wreath, and they're making 5 cards, and all fine and dandy. This was my 5 cards from one sheet, and I love it. But I'll tell you that Starry Sky was a challenge. So I thought, alrighty, I'm going to bring in these 2, which ironically are both carrying forward, and I made some tags. So we're still going to do like a one sheet wonder, but we're going to do it with tags because who doesn't need tags? So I will show you all this, but note that if you do want the measurements and full step-by-step instructions, you are going to need the tutorial. I use the tailor-made tags, and these are the flat ones with the reinforcement that I love. These are the little more ornate, and I don't love the round reinforcements. I feel like they could be cuter, but look how cute these are. And I thought they needed a little something, so I brought in the Quiet Meadow stamp set for some splatter. I was trying to use Versamark, but it wasn't working. So we have 2 each of the smaller tags. Oh, I lied. There's 3. So there's 5 altogether of the smaller ones. And then 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the larger ones. Now they don't all have the embossing on them, but how stinking cute. So I'm going to show you how I did this. But again, if you want all of the step-by-step measurements, yada yada, you're going to get the tutorial. You're going to need to purchase it, or my team members get it for free, or you can get it for free with a purchase. There are some bits on here that you are not going to want to stamp when the whole thing is still assembled. So here is my very vanilla. So check 1 on my color, right? Now, I need my paper trimmer and a pencil. And those dies are 2x4, which seems like a good number, good measurement for a label. So I'm just going to put that down and draw a light pencil line. Draw it light because you're not going to necessarily want to erase these. Okay, and then we've got another one. And then we're going to turn it. And at the 4-inch side, actually, let's do, yeah, draw a line here, but not all the way. Another one over here. And there will be images that show this in my tutorial. Okay, so now we have some for the top, 2 more lines. So I have seen it with pencil. I have seen it where it's scored. You can do it either way. I prefer the pencil line because the score, of course, leaves a mark where your image won't quite stamp here. So we have this part right here that we're not going to use, although if you have a use for it, be my guest. And then we have, whoops, this little piece here that we're not going to use, and that is it. And you're going to get 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 tags out of this. So now I'm going to bring out my stamps, and I've got them all mounted. That is soft suede. This is soft suede. So I'm going to put my stamps with my ink, open them up, and I will speed through this part. So I've got my Pear Pizzazz. So I'll get my pieces. I didn't have enough A blocks, so I thought at least if I put the same colors on the same block, it should be fine. So here is my shaded spruce. And the one stamp I did not get out for that is this giant wreath. And I masked it originally, but we're not going to do that this time. I think I'll stamp the wreath when I've already cut them apart. So this big one, you could use the, well, you could use the smaller one, or you could use the one that's like a bare leaf wreath. So this one I will set aside and do that later. Probably same with the tree rings, but we'll see. And then with the flowers, I definitely did that part after, although maybe it would work this time. Let's see. We'll start with some, I'm going to do my Pear Pizzazz first because I found that if I did it second, I was picking up some shaded spruce. So I know there's like no rhyme or reason to it, but I'm going to start them kind of going the same way. So no two of these are ever going to look alike. Try as you might. Just going to cut along all of my pencil lines. Actually cut up this way first since it cuts two. Now my sentiments the first time around were easier because I had stamped off for my tree rings, which I didn't do the first time or two this time around. So it's gonna be a little challenging, but maybe I'll leave them blank this time. The first time around, I used the sentiments from the Ringed with Nature. So I had Just For You, Merry Christmas, and Love and Warmth, as you can see here. But the tree rings weren't on at the time that I stamped my sentiments. So I also did a bit of sponge jobbing around the edges of my first go around. I will not do that this time around. If you don't happen to have these two sets, the last chance sale will be a perfect time to get them. But also look at what you have and see what kind of tags you can make like this. The Merriest Moments would be great, but I felt like there was a lot of people out there using that, and you know me, I want to be different. Okay, so like I said, this time I am not going to use the TaylorMade Tags dies. I want to make it even quicker for you. So stay tuned and you will see with what. Now, the other thing I need to do is stamp my poinsettias because like the wreath, it takes up quite a bit of room. And you saw that I did do the wreath as well. They were still attached, but I did mask off a couple of areas, and on my original ones they did not come out this far. But like I said, you're never going to get two that look exactly the same. You could try. Okay, so I'm already blue and green. I might as well keep it going. So this is from the Ringed with Nature, and I'm just going to stamp it. Just going to stamp it in a couple little areas. There will just be a petal here or there that lets you know that, yes, they are on there, but there are some of these stamps you're not going to want to do while it's all still adhered, like I mentioned earlier. It was when I added this flower and the berries that I'm like, yes, the Starry Sky now belongs, because before it was just the tiny bit of berries, and I'm like, don't love this. Trying not to stamp in that same area because I don't want to get Starry Sky on the back of my tag. So I did use both of the different styles, so the rounded ones and the squared off ones. I would love to know what you think of this project. Let me know in the comments below. You can get your hands on the tutorial by placing an order with the demonstrator in your market. You get it by being a team member with the demonstrator in your market, or you can purchase it outright. So I thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you soon, my crafty friends. Bye.